It is a desperate time for the Reich. The whole world is about to go to war with Germany, and we must defeat them all. Hello, everyone. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4's World Ablaze mod. I hope you saw the special that I put out about the Prepare for a European War decision. So we won't talk about that right here, right now, but go look at that special if you haven't already, if you want to find out why it is important. And it can be very important. So okay, we're going to go through here. We now have activate Fall Weiss. We have the political power to do so. I think I've got my air forces up and going. Yes. That is an important thing. Okay, right, well, he did get to sort of jump on me, but let's do this thing. Right. I guess both divisions attack there. One division joins in that attack. These guys come to here. Okay, they both go to here. So 3 and 3 divisions attacking there. Looking to see where, okay, that does sort of touch there, looks like. Three divisions push there. Now, most of that is just holding the front. Yeah, let's okay. Oh, you can't go. Oh, come on. Really? Really, that's not attached there? Okay, well, I guess you go there. Oh, it's because these guys aren't at war. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. These guys are not at war. There is a national focus to sort of do that. All right. Now down here, let's see. We're going to burst out of all of our positions.
Ausrücken! 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 Angetreten! Befehle? Achtung! Befehle? Bereit! Ausrücken!
I guess we'll go that way with him.
Ausrücken!
These guys are just going in.
Bereit! Ausrücken!
No. Oh, he's way up there. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Befehle?
He's way up there. Okay. We get all of these. Very good.
Befehle? Bereit?
And we'll probably mark you this way.
Achtung!
You push there. You
treten.
guys push there. And one,
Bereit?
just one of you also joins that attack. Alright, I think that is it. Now what I'm also going to do from looking at earlier, okay, we're going to select you, and we're going to, okay, I think we will, I know you're, we'll patrol there. You guys, because I did see the French fleet coming in here, which I thought really was something of an ultimately stupid move, but okay. So let's also, we're going to use up a lot of fuel, I'm sure, but we're going to send you there. Hopefully we won't, I'm generally trying to avoid combat with major fleets, but well, if they're going to come in to my neighborhood, as it were, well, let's look to see what we may have left here for. Okay, well, lots of scout planes. Not that we have to use them all up, but let's put them there. Scouting. I mean, yeah, let's get them to do their job. We got 100 of them, so that 80 some of them. You come to there. I was sort of vaguely keeping the idea of these operating as a, you know, reserve. But I guess I'm going to see about deploying them. And yeah, let's put these guys there too. And you do naval striking. And naval patrol. And use these guys as well. All right, you guys come here and naval strike. So hopefully here, if they do bring in the French fleet, we will overwhelm it. We have hopefully sink a lot of it, actually. Wouldn't be a bad thing, especially when we can get it in a condition with having a lot of air supremacy over it. Are all these guys operating now? Yeah, it looks like it. Alright, now that I did that, I really miss the ability you have in Hoi 3 to assault. No. I haven't remapped my mouse yet. To be able to do this prior to launching the attacks. You know, saying, hey, yeah, you just support whatever attack is is going to be happening there, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
Because we don't want you to move out of position. I
Angetreten.
think we can... You like that. Okay. Now, for the moment, we're going to see how things go. Yes, this is still very much of a learning experience for me with the mod. Good mod. Look, people, good mods to really get the nuances. I'm not saying, oh, you know, how to basically play it or game, you know, mod or game. Basic playability shouldn't be that difficult to learn. If it is, well, depending on how difficult and what the, you know, type of game, it could be a problem. But learning the nuances, shall we say, that to me is something that I'm fine with doing. But the problem is, and you go, well, problem is I'm trying to entertain you and I don't want to keep replaying. God, you don't know, especially in Hearts of Iron 3, how much I hate 1936. I've replayed 1936 so many effing times, you know, testing my mod to get to somewhere else. And when new things, you know, happen, you need to test. You could say, well, but gamer, I'm going to leave one of these divisions here just in case this does go to war and we need to defend that province. But gamer, you should, you know, learn this beforehand. Yeah, well, before, you know, before playing it. Well, sometimes it takes a while to do this, and whether it's a new game, new version of the mod, new whatever, the time just isn't there. And sometimes, quite honestly, it's let's share the experience of looking at the new mod or new game or whatever. Okay, so we want you to come to here, and then we want you to slam into him because we want to get some of that railway connectivity, and then we want you to come over here, and we want you to come this way, and then I think push in through here to Warsaw. All right. I know that's maybe a bit far planning ahead, but you come over here, get the sort of flank, and you come that way. Come through Lotz, get the railway, come that way, push into the center. Oh, these guys, I forgot, I should probably move these guys up beforehand, because they really don't need to be there. Okay. Well, now, these divisions are particularly fast, which is good. You come that way, and maybe push it to there, I guess. Oh, yeah. Oh shit, you're over there. How are you over there? Oh, you're over here. Okay. That way. Now you place to there to create a pocket. You come here to there. You also come to here. These guys. There we go. Uh-huh. Alright, we've created a pocket around Plausible, which will hopefully allow us to just come in and crush the rest of these guys here. Now, here, get that started, and you support that attack. You attack that Polish Armored Division. Okay, this is what I get. We're going to... I think this is a good idea. Let's bring you in. Accept. Now this way we needed to leave him there. Well, yeah, you support. No. Keep doing my mouse shortcut, but keep forgetting that I do a thing 1,000 times or whatever. Takes a little while to get used to not doing it, but I gotta get it reset again, because I do want. You push all the way to there. So you're in good order. You push on him. In the next best order, push on him. There. Okay. Panzer Division to there. Motorized Infantry Division to there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, you keep marching that way. Rommel is sadly not up at the front. Alright, Infantry Divisions. Okay, you two come this way. Immediately attack there. You're going... Okay, no, you go that way so that we're covering the flank. You come this way as well. You guys come in and attack there. Oh, we didn't get you moving. Sorry. The staff officer messed up and didn't get your orders sent to you properly. Okay, yeah, you guys just joined that attack. Yeah, you guys, that's about ready to collapse. You guys push up that way. Okay, we pushed out here. Okay, so their offensive in the north has stalled, which is good. Okay, I hate just having to do just that. Well, you guys made it to here, so you attack that way. You do a pinning attack there with that. You guys add to that movement thing. Okay, Panzers, you come up and around it and join that. Motorized Infantry division, you come that way as well. Keep moving on. You're gonna come to here and then up to there. And you're gonna come and then over to here. Secure our flanks, Rommel. You attack down until there. You support the attack. Okay, we should secure Norway by force, yes. Alright, well. More dockyards. Okay, we are having rubber problems. Okay, well, looks like we can... let's see here. We do have some political power, so let's at least try to keep some of that going with trade with the Netherlands. Alright, let's do that. Otherwise, we have a lot available for what we need. That is good. For production. Oh, we're headed over here. Okay. We're just starting April 29th, so one about every 10 days. That seems sort of okay to me. Well, we're going to get a few more dockyards there for Danzig. I think... Well... Type 9, Type 7C versus Type 7A. So I'm looking at this cost here. We can produce, yeah, I think we're going to do a few of those. Just, oh, we need more steel. I thought we had plenty of steel. Okay, well, well, we probably need to get more iron then. Oh, I didn't notice that. We'll get some more iron coming in from Norway. I think that will be doing that, just reactivating core steel mill, rebalance industry, reduce workers hours. Okay, rebalance the industry. At war has more than 50% consumer goods and factories 4%. Okay, takes to re-enable result. Results will become exhausted every time the decision is taken. Moderately decreases economic fatigue by 4%. Yeah, we'll do that, I guess. Okay, so they've now just... I want you, because these guys are in bad shape, immediately push into there. Once you get there. You come there, you guys come down this way. Okay, well, first, let's drive you to there.
Angetreten.
Right like that. Yeah, let's do a river crossing here. Secure that flank.
Achtung.
These fortifications have held out a little longer than anticipated. Let's have you come down this way. Okay, you stop going that way. You come down this way. You guys get to have your victory march into Poznan. You come this way. I don't know why you've taken so long to go that way. Come this way here. You guys march that way. You come this way here.
Bereit. Ausrücken. Angetreten. Ausrücken. Befehle. Ausrücken.
Yeah, Rommel, you join that battle and push up that way.
Angetreten. Angetreten.
Okay, let's see. Alright. Well, it looks like we didn't have the big battle that we had last time up here with the French. Could be all that extra air power and some more ships that I sent out. But I'm not sure. Let's see here. We killed 11 destroyers. Well, you know, Poland really didn't have that much of a navy, but okay. No losses there. Our aircraft looked like they took out 2 subs. Very nice. Took out a French sub, 2 French subs. Alright, so we're doing okay there. What happened here? Okay, well, we took out 2 convoys. Okay, we are battling some frigates there. Took out a couple of convoys.
Achtung.
You put, oh no, here on these guys. Okay, well, we can start moving east.
Achtung. Angetreten.
You guys can push down into there.
Achtung.
One of you can support that.
Angetreten.
Okay, you guys get to push there.
Angetreten.
You can join that push.
Ausrücken.
You push out that way. Yeah, you
Ausrücken.
push on the armored division, I guess.
Ausrücken. Angetreten. Achtung. Bereit. Ausrücken. Achtung.
I'll just come through there.
Achtung.
You push across over there, and so do you. I think you just push into the city, join that melee. Okay, well, let's add the motorized infantry division there. I don't want you to get caught in that counterattack, so you come down this way. Okay, you come over to there.
Achtung!
You push
Ausrücken!
on him.
Achtung!
Oh, our air situation. Okay, so we have... Oh, pause. Fall of Warsaw, another victory for the Winterland. Very nice. Okay, so we have air supremacy over here, which is good. Mostly what we can ask for. Right. Well, we need 30 units of iron. So, import more iron. That would be the thing. And tungsten. Okay. All right. Well, let's first switch to the Soviet Union to see about getting our tungsten before we go and stop that.
Bereit!
You push there.
Ziele!
You guys start pushing down there.
Achtung!
You guys come that way.
Ausrücken!
You come that way.
Angetreten! Bereit! Angetreten! Angetreten! Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
Okay, well, since you're across
Ausrücken!
the river that is,
Angetreten!
not sure who's fighting who here. What I thought we sort of had.
Ausrücken!
Oh, it's maybe this side of the river's thing. No,
Ausrücken!
I don't know who's fighting. Okay, maybe that just now gone. All right.
Bereit! Bereit! Achtung! Angetreten! Ausrücken! Angetreten!
Support that attack, and you also support that attack. We want to take their secondary capital.
Bereit!
Now let's look at our current trade situation. Okay, well. Yeah, most of this is gone, so let's dump all of that. We may pick it back up once we can, you know, have France and get it along the coastline there. Over here. Yeah, let's grab another bunch from Activate core steel mill. There we go. You cross here, drive down to Lublin. You come here and just to there. Okay, so far we have not overextended ourselves. Well, we're gonna need more fuel, guys. I know. I know. I know. I knew this was gonna be a problem. Just the question was is how big of a problem it's going to be. Like I say earlier, these games take a bit of learning. I, don't quite know for sure about that, but we're going to keep pressing on with... You can move north to there. Oh, don't worry, Lithuania. No one will ever invade you. Yeah. Yeah. Just push on those guys there. Oh, good. Nice to have you, Soviet Union. Coming in for some of the hard fighting, I see. Now, how? Okay, we need a lot more steel. I thought I'd been reactivating core steel mills all over the place. There's a lot of armies right there. Let's overrun them. Looks like we are now green on, well, nearly all of that. But we're going to be expanding production, so we need to be more than green. And the old saying, it ain't easy being green.
Alright. Ausrücken.
Research slot is available. Ah, okay, well. We'll get us more oil. 200 days. Yep, I think so. Okay, let's see how big of a hit that's going to be. Okay, minor to production. Allocation. Man, what? Are they like bombing our steel? Or are we selling off our fucking steel? Exported. Who the fuck is... Sweden is... and Italy. Okay. And can't afford this crap. Oh boy. Can't afford to make all your steel, Italy. Global organization. Don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. War economy. Okay. Okay, we have to get rid of our wax industry, which... Oh, that is a national focus removal thingy. Okay, mobilize workforce. Yeah, this will do that. Okay.
Achtung! Angetreten.
United States embargoes our country. Not that I was really planning on trading with the United States now that we are, you know, have an Atlantic war going on. Let's take a quick look at that Atlantic war. Okay, I don't think we're doing any... Okay, yeah, okay, that was one of the convoys that was coming out of Portugal that we lost, and there's a sub we lost, 6 subs. Okay, well, oh shit, we're really, like, losing here. I don't know that the Western approaches are going to be any better. I want you to, just, yeah, come on. Are you going to come home now? Okay, Poland has capitulated. Well, we didn't. We should have looked at the additional supplies. Okay, but, okay, that's doing fairly good. We're taking out... Maybe I should only be producing long-range subs. I don't know. Right. Okay. Yep. 3DBO be obeyed. You guys head back. What? Oh, we're going to be there. Yeah, head back. Head back. Western war plans are completed. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I know we have low manpower. We have, yes, the divisions are coming home. 1940, flat towers, neat. Unlocks decisions which will cost, presumably, but cool. Wehrmachtschaftfahren, basically women's, or armed forces, women's helpers, whatever. So add women in the army. Yes, women in the army. Most nations during World War II did not employ combat or women in combat unless their nation was under great stress. Please, that's a complete sort of sentence there. Okay. Yes, the Night Witches, the famous female combat pilots in the Soviet Union. I forget her name, but the one particular woman who was, propagandized, and I think she was probably a pretty good sniper for the Soviet Union, and other women, fighting in tanks and other things. There were those. But I would say the Soviet Union, for a number of years, was highly under stress. At the time of Stalingrad, the Case Blue offensive, the Soviet Union's highly under stress. Yes, they end up defeating the German Sixth Army, and from then on out, basically, Germany's on the defensive. Sure, yes, Operation Citadel is an offensive, and yes, it's ultimately a failed offensive. And there are other, offensives or counteroffensives or however you want to do it. But there's no great strategic offensive in the East after Case Blue. It is, small offensive, shall we say. There, just like, and again, at the same point, basically, there is, what we in America call the Battle of Kasserine Pass in North Africa with Rommel. That is the last real, in my opinion, German offensive. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, we can talk about the Battle of the Bulge and whatnot. Yeah, but that's still just sort of a reaction to what's going on, a counteroffensive. But I would call the sort of campaign of the in and around the Battle of Kasserine Pass as the last real German offensive attempt or whatever of World War II. After that point, yeah, certainly you get reactions to naval invasions in Sicily, or Anzio, and Clark comes ashore and is securing. It takes so long securing his base of operations when he could have just driven into Rome. Literally. Now, yeah, maybe he would have been too strung out and could have been heavily damaged, but I don't think so. I don't think that's the general consensus. But yeah, they come in, they try to push on the Anzio bridgehead. Yeah, they try to do a counteroffensive against, the Normandy landings. Yeah, there's some other, tactical operations, and of course, as I just mentioned, the Battle of the Bulge, the Ardennes offensive, and then there's sort of the Budapest, which was sort of the last German offensive. But those are more counterstrokes, I would call them. Not. I would say the Battle of Kasserine Pass is a serious attempt at destruction of the, Anglo-American armies here. Okay. And I would say, Case Blue and the whole Stalingrad Caucus, that was the last big serious Soviet, or, offense against the Soviet Union. Everything else is buying time. Okay. I would call that buying time. So, and it's sort of up to that point, like I was saying, the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union, yes, employs a fair number of women in combat roles because, again, they are under a lot of stress. And, of course, all the women that were working in the underground, including, all the women like the SOE, the British secret, operations, are parachuting into, and I knew one of them actually, parachuting into occupied territories. Yeah, and this isn't a commentary on women's capabilities. This is a commentary on what was the facts of World War II. In that, if your nation is occupied, and resistance women fought, not just helped, but they pulled gun trigger, rifle triggers, machine gun triggers, in the resistance movement. But again, your nation is sort of under stress if you are under a stressful situation if you're already occupied by the enemy. So that's a different thing. But without being without your nation being under stress, serious stress, basically there are not women in combat. I would say with the Soviet Union, it is one, again, massive stress, but I don't see, and maybe I'm wrong, hey, post links or whatever to articles, and if they're approvable, I'll approve them or something, or get on my Discord and post links there. To, articles about in the 1930s, women in the Soviet armed forces, post that, in combat roles, whether not that they were necessarily in combat, but in combat, like, hey, yeah, we had this, tank battalion that was equipped entirely by women in the Soviet Union or something. Yeah, post that if you will. But I don't see any of that. I mean, yes, during the, the Civil War, the Russian Civil War or something, certainly, again, your nation is under stress. And I think part of it is also ideological in the Soviet Union, in that, the new Soviet man, the new Soviet woman, women's roles more advanced. Where nations like Britain, they, yes, the few SOE women that did perish, some died tragically and, under horrid conditions, torture and whatnot, in, Gestapo, prison camps and whatnot. The one I knew was not captured by the Germans, but yes. And I mean new, years ago, obviously now, but they kept women out of combat. Now, women served heavily, and women died in combat in Britain, in that they were serving at RAF bases and those bases got bombed. And there were definitely women doing, I don't know if they ever, I'm sure at some moment somebody grabbed some shells or did some work, but I don't know if they were ever assigned to anti-aircraft gun batteries. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure in Britain, but I do know of many positions, are women that were doing, uniformed and out in the field doing the spotting work and the reporting, meaning they got the binoculars, they're doing because even however good your radar is in 1940 or 1941 or 1943 or whatever, however good it is, it rarely identifies the like type of aircraft, and maybe not even like its altitude, depending on when. And I don't know all the details of the British, chain home radar, I think it was called. No, so that it's partially, yes, propaganda to oh, we're spotting the incoming Germans, as opposed to we're radaring them incoming in. We're spotting them and reporting all this stuff, and they talk that up in the newsreels because it's obvious that it's happening. But it still is playing a very important part in that when the weather's clear enough and it's daylight enough and whatnot, they're identifying, hey, oh, and also depending on the time, the radar doesn't tell you how many aircraft it is. They're just like a blob, because the radar isn't necessarily that. It gets better over time, and I'm not an expert on it, during the war period. You can't necessarily tell that because you're flying in a tight formation. Are there 20 or are there 10 aircraft? Let alone maybe what type of aircraft they are. Are they bombers? Are they fighters? What are their altitudes? Because you want to tell them their altitudes so that maybe the fighters that are coming in to intercept can try to get above them or whatever. And also, because if you're too high, you may just fly over them and then have to try to, oh shit, we went too far, and then try to chase them and catch up, and they get to London or wherever before you intercept them. So women are, and that is a I guess front line in the if you will, air war. But obviously that's on your home territory. So yes, women were casualties, obviously, but like there were a lot of women ferrying aircraft around, because you got to move aircraft around a lot, and instead of trying to put them on trains, which are too wide or whatever, you fly them around Britain, and most of that is done with women pilots. Generally speaking, without having any ammunition, are almost exclusively without having ammunition in the guns. So a few times that there are trouble and they try to have to get out of the combat zone that it turns into. But some of the women have more experience on more types of aircraft and maybe more flying hours than, say, your average fighter pilot, because fighter pilots just trained on a few type of, trainer aircraft and whatever ones he's actually flying, where the women are checked out and flying at, two different aircraft in a day. And they're maybe flying more hours in that they're, ferrying around. So they're very experienced pilots. So, and Germany is similar in that they do have flak helpers at some point that are women, and that's obviously standing outside while you're being bombed, shooting up at aircraft. But they're also doing, like you see, in a lot of the movies here, the women around the, fighter command pushing the little blocks of wood that represent the incoming, enemy aircraft or whatever. A lot of those are women. Yeah, and the women that are running the switchboards, and there's a lot of jobs that are starting before the war, but not heavily. It's really, in large numbers, it's really once the war comes out, that they're starting to get women in the military that frees up manpower. So, quite honestly, I just don't know of, and I'm not saying it's a negative that I think there's none, but I just don't know the situation of women in fascist Italy and any of the armed services. I know the Luftwaffe, the Heers, the army, and the Kriegsmarine, the navy in Germany, all have significant women auxiliary forces. Britain similarly, America similarly. Japan, of Japanese women, because I know of one Manchukuo and sort of woman who was a general, actually. She didn't really command a division. It was more like a regiment or a brigade of sort of like Mongolian horsemen and sort of anti-bandit patrol kind of thing. Just don't know of hardly any photos of, and I've tried to collect as much as I can, photos for like Japan of women in uniform. They were definitely training and drilling with weapons as the Allies were approaching Japan, in the idea that they were going to be last-ditch defenders of Japan. But I really don't see, the idea of women taking over auxiliary roles in the Japanese armed forces for Japanese women. So yeah, but Germany does this considerably, basically to a point, and this is also in Britain to a point, that women are drafted. I think I know the details a bit, maybe more within Britain. Basically, but in Britain, if you're a young woman by, I don't know, 42, 43, because their manpower is so desperate, every woman is required to go into war work unless she can get some sort of permission out of it. Notice what I said, war work. Could be the Women's Land Army, which is helping out with the farming, or they're also doing a lot of forestry work, finding and cutting down trees to, for wood, rifle stocks, or whatever it is. Mosquito, the aircraft is made out, plywood. Well, some of it's, glued together wood, some, in ply type format, some of it's not, but for wood for all the war needs. Or they're working in war factories, or they are joining the Wrens or whoever, a uniformed military service. Basically, and I don't know the ages, and it sort of expands. Now, there are ways out of it, but to a point, it's like, oh, you have a young child? Great. Go work in the factory, have grandma, who's 40-something, or whatever, maybe, this is for, this is young women, shall we say. I'm just going to guess here, 20 to 30, we're not talking all women everywhere. And so if you have a job that's considered a vital war work job, and that wouldn't be working in the pub or doing whatever, it's, being a sales lady in a dress shop or something, you're going to need to go into war work. Britain is mobilizing its female labor force, and a lot of it can be, in war-based factories. There are ways out of, like I say, there are ways out of it. And Germany is similar, that they are really, really pushing. It's becoming, basically, women are also sort of drafted, and this is what. And it's different, with any of these things, that, the when of what I'm talking about, is this 1940 in for Germany or Britain or whatever? No, it's not. They're not drafted. But basically, it gets that way with Germany, as well as time goes on. You have the BDM. The German, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. The woman's, the female Hitler Youth, if you will, and then moved into, as they get a bit older, they're going into the RAD, the Reich Arbeitsdienst, the National Labor Service, which is a uniformed, not a military force, but a uniformed service. And when you talk early on, it's voluntary. Eventually, it's basically required. Now, there are exemptions, particularly in Germany, for motherhood. But motherhood isn't like, oh, well, I'm a mom, so I don't have to go. No, it's more, they're more understanding. But it's, but you don't, if you want to go work in a, wartime factory or whatever, oh, certainly, there are ways around it, and there are ways out of it. So it's not 100% universal, and I'm talking off the top of my head, so I'm sure some of my facts and details are wrong. So don't, you can engage me on this topic. I'm happy to have you do so. But don't think that, I guess, you know, uh, correct me. I'm happy with corrections, but don't get mad if I don't use this thing as a
Befehle?
what are you doing? Where are you going? Stop. Yeah. Okay, you guys are out. Stop.
Achtung!
Stop. Yeah. Once you get out of occupied territory, stop. Um. Like I say, happy to have you correct. Oh, I don't want you to use my ramblings here as if you read it in a book. If it's a mod that I made, I've looked into this. Okay, not to say it can't be wrong, but I've and got all the details right. So this is a very important thing for Germany, and as time goes on, it gets more and more. Now, over here, relaxed industry, which will be good for us. And I would say removes naval rearmament, which grants dockyard output will reduce by 25%. Which is a shame, but I think we need to do this next. Germany, we're trying to gamify or categorize reality into categories here for the game. Once the war breaks out with the West, and it's only hours or days or however you want to look at that, Germany really starts to, that I'm thinking of, but you also have the Shell Plan, which is going back, it's 37 or 38, and I think he's a colonel at the time or something. I don't know. It's a plan to rationalize German industry for the upcoming war. And as part of it, at that time, in 37 or 38, they go from something like I'm just, again, it's in my mod that I made, so I'm just going off memory here. They go for something like 150 different types of motorcycles being made in Germany down to 35. And I'm not saying that these are different paint jobs or, I'm talking sort of automotively, different types of motorcycles. They go from a huge number down to small, reduce your amount of different models of motorcycles. I'm not saying, handlebar changes or something minor like that, but, sort of functional motorcycle differences. They go down to that, and they also go down to 1/3 the number of truck models. Again, I'm not talking what's on the back of the bed of the truck, whether it's a refrigerated truck for delivering ice cream or something versus a flatbed truck. We're talking, the cab, the engine, the transmission, the axles, the sort of the meat of what makes the truck. Under this, and they require all of German industry to comply with this well before the war starts, so that you don't have production of a bunch of different models of things that are going to be used for the war effort. Even if the truck is not a good military off-road type truck, it's still a truck that's going to be operating in Germany, and you don't want to have, you want to provide a limited number of spare parts, because you very well may need trucks, for your industry, for your war work. And so they can be city trucks, that have low ground clearance and whatnot, but they're important for the war. You want to rationalize the system. And so that starts before the war, like I say, 37, 38, the Shell Plan. But, once the war starts, the German economy is being put in line for the war. But I want to stress here that the National Socialist regime and Hitler himself is very unsure of its self, is very worried about public sentiment, which partially be war support, which partially be stability in these game modes. So as much as, shall we say, practical, they keep the civil economy going. They are worried because of World War I. They're worried about popular reaction to another war with France, to another war with Britain, and the people's willingness to put up, not just with discomfort like rationing or, blackouts or something like that, but bombing, casualties at the front, that kind of thing. And Hitler, and the National Socialist regime is worried about the army as well. I've talked about this. Hitler becomes much less worried about the army once they institute conscription, because millions of SA men are now in the army that he thinks are politically reliable, and he believes, whether it's true or not, I don't know, is that they would not follow orders to do a coup against the National Socialist regime. Once you become a soldier, I don't know how likely the troops would, revolt against officers because he never, to the end, never trusts the officer corps. But that would, worrying about revolts. And it isn't until the fall of France that that's when he's finally cemented, and yes, we know about the Stauffenberg assassination attempts and others, but that's why up until the end everyone's fighting into the death, if you will, to the death of Germany, at least. Not maybe to their death, but to the death of Germany. They're willing to fight, and that's really only happens after the fall of Paris. So I'm not going to go into that, but right now, but some other time maybe. So they're worried about public perception. So they try to keep, as rationing is implemented, they're trying to keep as much of the civil economy, the ability to, go in and buy shoes at a shoe store that are being made now. They try to keep that going on instead of turning that shoe factory over to a boot factory, or whether it's they're making cloth, or whether they're, turning that cloth into clothing, taking it from civilian into uniforms. The National Socialist regime has uniforms for almost everybody, if you know what I mean. Not just not just the war fighters. But so it's a gradual process, but only really dug into moving towards what we would call total mobilization after the failure to take Moscow in that first, 1941, and that winter counteroffensive. It's only then, because prior to that, first you have, like right now, they're unsure about the war with, the Western Allies. Then Paris falls. Okay, the regime is safe, but the war is sort of mostly over. Yeah, there's still an air war going, whether it's the Battle of Britain or the starting of real sort of bombing campaigns against Germany by the British. And sure, there's, the U-boat war and, various, Grosse Bay out battling in the Atlantic, and people are watching things on the newsreels, and yeah, people have blackouts periodically or all the time. I don't know. More and more, blackouts become, more and more the thing as the fighting is going on. And I don't know. I quite honestly don't know. Were they blacking out Königsberg and Danzig just because? Or were they only blacking that out because how far away, are British bombers capable of being once they think that it is I just quite honestly don't know. I know they have posters, Verdunken or whatever, with showing like a light coming out of a window, darken everything. And I can focus that on my mod. I don't know how much they're shutting that they're shutting off the lights, probably more so in Western Germany as the war is going on, but I don't know. And then later on, once other things happen, but war with Soviet Union. and longer range bombing and whatnot. But so, so that may be a reality of life, but it's the big war is over, and it's just, and it's also just Mussolini messing around in Africa, because you got to remember, it isn't until after the war with Greece does Rommel even show up in North Africa. So, and that, I know that's pre going into the Soviet Union, but they couldn't really telegraph to the German people that, hey, we've got to dig in and go to total economic mobilization. Well, why? Well, you just got these Brits to fight. Well, why? Oh, we're getting ready to go to war with the Soviet Union. Couldn't tell that to anybody, okay? Because you didn't want the Soviet Union to be that aware that it's really going to happen and soon, not that it might happen someday. And even the army is sort of told that, yeah, we're done for now. Prepare for the next war in a few years. That's why they actually slow down production of some tank models, because they knew the new guns were coming and new improvements were coming, so we don't need quite as many of the current models. Oops. And so it really isn't until the failure to take Moscow, that first campaign, does Germany move into, total mobilization. So I would say war economy is appropriate here, once we, get enough political power and other crap like that. But it is, and obviously it's a gradual thing in reality, like I'm just saying, more so than trying to implement it rapidly. And it isn't really until the Soviet Union that it becomes total mobilization attempts. And again, that is still it's trying to be done faster. I mean, it isn't like trying to deny the need to, and I think it's not, and total Krieg, total war, which I think is the first time that it's used, I think is in Goebbels' speech. Was it after the fall of Stalingrad or something, in the Sportsplatz or whatever? But it's really then that they're really pushing it on the people. Well, okay, I hope this has all been fun. We've defeated Poland. We're going to, let's see here. Yes, we can activate some of these things. Okay, well, we're getting a lot more political power now. Good going. Okay. Hey, if I haven't already said, if you're new around here, please smash the subscribe button, and everybody, please lick the like button. It's tasty. Taste it, only if it's like, you haven't tasted it yet. Each one tastes different. See you next time, everybody.